Hello folks, this is Shardul Gavande from Ace Knowledge, and today in this video we are going to see practical number 6, which is programming menus. Okay, so let me show what exactly we are going to do in this practical. So here is an image which you can see, and this is nothing but bottom navigation view or bottom navigation menu in our Android application. So this is what we are going to code, and let me get you somewhere to the bottom navigation view, which is here under developer.android.com. So this is how what exactly is the widget, and we need to use this in our activity underscore main XML file. So let's jump into our Android Studio. I've created already a project with named as menus, and in my activity underscore main I would uh, just simply get the GUI component bottom navigation view over here. But hold on, before proceeding, we need to add some dependencies as we had done it for frame layouts, app bar. So these are some dependencies file which we need to add into our Gradle in order to make bottom navigation view work. So we'll copy this and we'll get into our build.gradle module app, and over here I would paste it. So once I've pasted, I would sync my project so that it is updated with the latest libraries which I implemented just now, and you can see your build completed successfully. Okay, so the project is successfully synced, and now in our activity underscore main XML file we would create a bottom navigation view. So search for bottom navigation view, select it. We'll bring this two things down so that it is in one line. So Android, so first the width, so we would assign the width as match parent. Why? Because you can see in the image, so this is our entire screen, this is the left, this is the right side. So we need to have our bottom navigation view to be exact, to be having the width exactly of what width our application is having, okay, or the size of a phone. So that is the reason we would give the attribute value as match parent, and the layout width is match parent, and for the height we would keep it as wrap contain. Okay, but still we get some error over here. Okay, we'll give ID also, Android. We'll pass the ID Android colon ID, and we'll give it as navigation, and still there is a red line over here. You can see it says that this view is not constrained vertically at runtime, and it will help you to add so and so, and it says unless you add a vertical constraint layout, okay, layout editor. So it needs to add some, or needs to specify that this bottom navigation view where exactly it has to be on our application. So the attribute is, we need to put a constraint layout attribute. So it is layout, or simply layout underscore constraint to the bottom. Since it is a bottom navigation, the attribute is layout constraint bottom to bottom of, where do we want, to the bottom of parent, and so you can see the red line is gone. And one more, so there are two more attributes. So it was for the bottom, the next is to the left and right. So layout underscore constraint to the right of parent, and one more, layout underscore constraint to the left of parent. So using this, our bottom navigation view is completed, the GUI component part. Now next what we need to do is we need to create, let's see what exactly we need to do over here. In the resources under menu folder, we need to create a my underscore navigation dot XML file for our navigation icons, which is nothing but this one. Okay, so for that we need to create an XML file under menu folder. So let's get into our resources. We'll right click, new Android resource file, and we'll give the name as navigation underscore menu, and the resource type would be menu. So we want this navigation underscore menu under menu folder. So if the folder is not appearing and in your project, so you can simply create a new directory first, give it a name as menu, and then create navigation underscore menu.xml file under this menu folder. So once I'm done this, I'll click on OK, and now I need to pass the items which I want on my bottom navigation bar. So I'll pass item, and I'll give ID for my item. So Android colon ID. I'll give first is for videos, and the first section would be my video section, and next Android colon icon. I'll give colon icon drawable videos. So you can see this image appeared over here, and then Android colon title will give as videos. Okay, and I'll close this item, first item. Similarly, I'll do it for the second and third. I'll copy it and paste it so that it becomes faster. We'll change the ID. So after videos I have notes, and over here it would be notes. The title would be also notes, and the last section is we have it is quiz, and in the drawable we have the name as image as exam, and the title will give as quiz. So these are the three bottom navigation menu, my three bottom navigation videos, notes, and quiz. Okay, so I've created my navigation underscore menu.xml file. Now I need to get into the main activity.kt file and bind this bottom navigation view as we do for each and every GUI component, which we saw in list view, fragment. Yes, so similar thing, we'll do it over here. So you can check it over here in Kotlin that this is how we bind our bottom navigation view over here. They have created a variable, declared it as a private, and bind it the bottom navigation view, and the method which they have called is on navigation item selector. So we need to do this thing now, which is to create an item click listener. So when I click on my menu sections of my bottom navigation, so what exactly should happen? So that we need to perform in our main activity.kt file by calling on navigation item selected listener method. So let's declare a private a variable over here as they have done. So private val, and it was on navigation item selector. Okay, or you can simply pass it as M over here for menu, and we'll bind it to our bottom navigation view. So we have bottom navigation view. Okay, and we'll call the method dot on navigation item selector. So this method we need to call, will pass your item. Okay, you need to pass this item over here, and let us bring this down. Okay, so the keyword now here to check whether which item is selected, this or this, so we use when in Kotlin. So as we have switch cases in C++, in Java, so in Kotlin we have when instead of switch. So it acts as the same as switch case, but here we use it as when keyword. So item dot will pass the item ID in order to check which exactly the menu has been clicked, and Now we'll pass the id, so r.id dot the id of our menu. First was videos, so we would pass it over here and open and close curly braces. So under here now we would simply return a value, so return on navigation item selected listener to true. Okay, so similarly we'll do for other IDs which were our notes and notes, and it was quiz. Okay, so now we have successfully passed the IDs, and here it shows as when expression must be exhaustive, add necessary else. Okay, so after our when statement, let us add this false, and so that it means that on navigation item selected listener is false. First it would be as false if not selected. Okay, so we have created this menu and binded our bottom navigation view. Now what we need to do is, so on click of this bottom navigation, each of this menu of bottom navigation view, we need to pass our fragments, or we need to call our fragments. So in the fragment section we have seen how to create a fragment, so we'll do the same thing for our bottom navigation menu. So we'll go over here in Java and we'll create new Kotlin file class, and we'll give a name as uh, videos for videos fragment, and we'll select here as class. Okay, we'll do the same thing for notes fragment. We'll select class. Okay, and the last we'll do it for quiz fragment. So these three fragments we have created, and we need to also create the XML file for the same. So new layout resource file and videos underscore fragment. Okay, then we have new layout resource file notes underscore fragment. Okay, and the last one we have is quiz underscore fragment. So this layout files we have created, and let us first add some data into this layout files. Under videos we will remove this constraint and let's try it with linear layout. And we'll put an image view. We'll select some image project. We have YouTube image over here. So now in the notes, again the same thing. We'll just clear this out, linear layout, and okay. Okay, so we'll remove this also, and the design image view, drag and drop, then go into the project, select the image for notes. Okay, and the last one was quiz. Again we'll remove this constraint layout, we'll go for linear layout this time, and in the design we'll select image view, drag and drop. Again from project we'll select an image as quiz. So we have done the coding for fragment section. Now we'll get into the .kt file of our three fragments. So in videos, the first one, we need to now extend our fragment. So we'll have colon, then fragment class over here, and this is the same thing what we did for our in the fragments video. So we'll just copy this on create method, and now we will have our override function, and the method is on create view inflator. We'll select this and we'll remove this statement and we'll return inflator, then this non-assertion rule or non-assertion parameter, inflate r dot layout, inflate the layout of our fragment, which was videos fragment, comma, container where it should be, and we'll pass the value attached to root as false. So the same thing we would do it for our notes section. So we'll simply copy this and paste it over here. We'll say OK, and okay, let us do it. Fragment, and we'll have the on create method over here. Copy and paste, and we have override method, override function outside our on create method, and we would just change this videos underscore fragments to notes underscore fragment. The rest would be the same. Again, for the quiz, we would extend fragment first, then copy our on create method from here, import the necessary files and override this particular method. We'll select an OK. So now what we need to do is we need to call this classes videos fragment, notes fragment, quiz fragments in our main activity.kt file. So what I'm going to do is now is I'll create a method as open fragment, and I will pass a support fragment manager, which would help me to call my 3 fragments which I've created over here. So let's see how does it works. So I'll create a private function over here and give the method name as open fragment, and I'll pass this fragment and extend my fragment over here. I'll open my method, and under the method I'll create a variable as transaction and equal to, I'll call this support fragment manager, which is responsible to get our fragments or call our fragments, and the method is dot begin transaction. Okay, next is our transaction dot, we would say replace with our own fragment, so which we have created, whichever fragment would get called, so we need to replace our template with that particular fragment. So that is the reason transaction dot replace, and under this we would pass our id, so r dot id dot container comma and the fragment. So this container is nothing but we have over here the container, and fragment means the name of the fragment which we would pass here as an argument. So that particular fragment would get loaded. So the next is transaction dot replace. So replace means to replace our fragment with which we have created. So if I pass, so let me show you r dot id, we need to pass here as r dot id dot container comma fragment. Okay, so this container comes from here, we have a container, and that particular fragment would be loaded. If it is videos, then videos underscore fragment. If notes, notes, and if it is quiz, then quiz. So this fragment, we would name of the fragment, we would pass it over here as an argument when we would call a method. Okay, so begin, we have begin our transaction, or then we have replaced, and next is transaction dot add. We have add to backstack. So add to backstack is nothing but when the fragment gets added to a stack, we'll pass the value as null. Fragment gets added to the stack, so that when we reverse the operation as we close our application and then reopen it, we go to the back section and then reopen our application, then it should get it should reverse its operation back to our fragment whichever is open. So for that purpose we have this add to backstack, as we have stacks. Okay, so the same thing, the fragment gets onto a stack of operations and it gets called back once again whenever the user reopens the app. Okay, and the last is we have transaction dot commit, uh, so that in order to close this, and yes, we are done with this. Now we need to call this method open fragment. You can see function open fragment is never used, so we'll call this under each of our menu section. So here let's create a variable as well, and we'll give the name as video fragment. Okay, and I'll call video fragment class over here, and I need to pass the call this method also, which is over open fragment, which I've created here. So let me call it open fragment, and I will pass the parameter as my variable, which is this video fragment. So I've called this method, or first I created a variable, then called the class video fragment. So this has been stored over in this variable, and I called this method open fragment and passed this variable video format over here. Okay, so the same thing I need to do it for my other sections also, and I'll simply change the variable name, the videos, to notes, and over here also the class I would call is notes, and here I have notes, and for the last one I have as quiz, and fragment would be quiz fragment, and here my variable as quiz. So you can see this now method has been used, and now what I need to do is, so now you can see this variable also, it says it has never been used. So we need to use this variable over here in our activity main onCreate method. So in activity underscore main, you can see bottom navigation. For a bottom navigation view, the ID is navigation. So we'll use that ID over here as navigation dot, the method we need to call is set, uh, let me type it again, navigation dot, okay, navigation dot set on navigation item selected listener. So this is the method which we need to call, and we'll pass our variable m on navigation item selected listener over here. So now it has been highlighted, which shows that it is been used now. So before running our application, we need to bind our navigation underscore menu.xml to our activity main.xml file. So under bottom navigation view, we would just type as menu app colon menu, and we'll pass this menu navigation underscore menu.xml file. And now we will run our project. We'll select emulator and say OK. So here you can see now our application on emulator. So this is our bottom navigation view. Okay, and if I click on videos, I can call this video fragment.kt file. Then if I click on notes, the fragment of notes is called fragment file, and if I click on quiz, I call this quiz fragment.kt file. Okay, so that's how bottom navigation works in Android using Kotlin. So that's it from this video. Thank you so much for watching, and don't forget to subscribe.